Good morning, Kensington. How's it going? Awesome. Go ahead and stand your feet if you would with us as we enter into worship this morning. The reign of darkness now has ended in the kingdom of light, in the kingdom of light, forever under your dominion. You're the king of my life. You're the king of my life. You reign above it all. You reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. On the cross, the work was finished. God, you poured out your life just to give us new life. Now from the lips of the forgiven, hear an anthem arise, 'cause Jesus, you're alive. Oh, you reign above it all. You reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. Let all of heaven and the earth erupt in song. Sing hallelujah to the everlasting one. There is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. Yes, you reign above it all. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. Come on, lift it up. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You sent the darkness running out of an empty grave. Now seated alone in glory, enthroned on the highest praise. You reign above it all. Over the universe and over every heart, there is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. Let all heaven and the earth erupt in song. Sing hallelujah to the everlasting one. There is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. You reign above it all. There is no higher name above your reign. You reign above it all. Jesus, you reign above it all. There is no higher name. Jesus, you reign above it all. You reign above it all. You reign above Jesus, you reign above it all. And this morning we give you glory and honor. You are worthy of it all. So we lift our voices, we lift our attention, we lift our focus towards you, King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Take a seat, everybody. Well, good morning. We're so glad you're here. I love the line, from you are all things, and to you are all things. And I'm going through a really reflective season in my life as my oldest son just graduated high school, and we're staring college in the face 7 hours north to Marquette, Michigan, at Northern Michigan University. There you go. Go Wildcats. Here in about 6 weeks. And I've thought about the hand of God on his life over the last 18 years. And I think of the highs, I think of the lows, I think of the challenges. And yet I see God crafting this young man's journey. And also reflective of my own journey, even dating back to the end of high school and college, and my journey is in adulthood as well. And all of the challenges that I've had, all of the wonderful successes and the glorious moments and the joys, and yet the sadness and heartbreak that have come too. But from him are all things, and to him are all things in our lives, in the goods and in the challenges as well. And so we're so glad you're here this morning. My name is Ryan Morrill. I'm part of our staff team here, and I work with our kids department mainly, and I'm here to talk about a couple things for families. One of those is coming up this week. Tuesday night, our staff and as many families as want to join us are going to head out to a park, actually a lake, right by Canterbury Village, off of Baldwin Road. Is that Baldwin? No, Joslin Road, excuse me. Off of Joslin Road there. And we're gonna be there Tuesday evening at 6:30. There's a lake, we're gonna be swimming, we're gonna be cooking out, free food, volleyball, and just a chance to hang with our staff. So if you're a family, whether they're littles or they're elementary age kids, single, married, whatever it looks like, we'd love to have you come join us. We'd love to spend time with you and just enjoy an hour and a half, 2 hours with you on what looks to be a beautiful evening as well. So information's there on the slide. We have cards in the kids area. Sign up so we know you're coming, so we have enough food as well, but join us Tuesday evening. Another thing that's exciting coming up for families as well is next month, every first Wednesday of the month, we have a midweek. And it's a great time, a great moment of worship and teaching in this room. But this August, this upcoming month, we're gonna have a special midweek that has a little bit different focus. We do these events called Rock Your Family. They're sometimes camps far away at Spring Hill Camp, but we're gonna bring camp literally to this building, actually that whole week, because Spring Hill Day Camp is here for elementary age kids all week, and they're gonna have a blast. But that night, we get to take over a lot of their stuff. And so there's gonna be a climbing wall, there's gonna be a bungee trampoline that's out in the parking lot, we're gonna have a big old obstacle course, all sorts of other games going on. And we are inviting all of you to come and experience this with us that night. We're gonna have dinner provided as well for families. And so we hope whole families come, whether they have littles or all the way through high school. And they're gonna get a chance beforehand to hang out and have some fun. And then everybody comes into the auditorium. We're gonna have a great time of worship, some fun in here as well. And then our elementary age kids are gonna head out to a special session just for them. We have childcare for early childhood, as we always do at midweeks. But parents are gonna get a chance to sit in here and hear from our teaching pastors. Craig McGlasson, his wife, Nicole, Sam Anderson and his wife, Amber, and finally from our Clarkston campus as well, because Clarkston's going to be joining us that night, Jeremiah and his wife, Marie. And so we're gonna get a chance to hear from them, and they're gonna talk about the highs and the lows, the successes and challenges that they have had in raising their kids, which they have kids all across the spectrum, from littles all the way through graduates, of raising their kids towards Jesus. What has gone well and what has been incredibly challenging. So we want to encourage all of you to come out that evening. It's going to be a really, really special time. Final thing we want you to know about is Sunday, August 21st, we're not going to be here. We're not going to be in this building that day. We're still going to have church, though, and we're going to be at Wildwood Amphitheater Park, which is located here in Lake Orion. It's an outdoor place, an outdoor service that we're going to have that morning. I believe it's at 11 a.m. We're gonna have a lot of fun, lots of games. We're gonna provide lunch as well, and a chance just to engage as an entire family, an entire church in one service together that morning. So we wanna encourage you to make sure you put that on the calendar that day. It's also our baptism service, right? And can they sign up for baptisms right now? now if they want to get baptized? Is it possible?
To
get baptized? Is there still, can they sign up yet?
Of course they
Okay,
can. There's
there
a
you go.
registration
Okay.
on the website for
Okay,
sure.
awesome.
Or we could tell them no.
Yeah.
No, the answer is yes, 100%
Yeah.
yes. We can also do walk-ups. We are partnering with Lake Point out of Oxford for this event as well. So I'm really excited about that, just creating partnerships within churches in this community. So definitely put that on your calendar and invite your neighbors. It's
Yep.
going to be a lot of fun. for
Easy
sure.
to, so just remember, August 21st, third Sunday of August, we're going to be at a different place. We hope you join us. By the way, this is Susan Welsh,
Hey,
campus director,
good
my
morning,
boss, by the way,
everybody.
as well.
Good
and so
morning.
we're so glad that you're here. You've got some exciting news for us, too.
I do. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about this. So do you remember a while ago, a few months back, we talked about a space that we were going to create out in the lobby, as well as a space we wanted to create out in the north lot. Do you guys remember that conversation? I know it's been a little bit. COVID has definitely put us back a few times, but we are beginning to make some serious progress. Within the next week or so, you're going to see some construction beginning in the building right outside of room 1302 for a play space for all of our Orions. We're calling it an Orion family space. For all of our families, in addition to our families, we really want to open this up to our entire community. So we're going to have people available in the building hosts, so that moms and dads with littles can come have community with one another and let their kids go play in a safe space. So we're very excited about that. Also excited about the Green Space Project, which we're going to be beginning possibly next week, maybe the week after. You'll see us start to tear up that concrete. We're going to get some green out there. We're going to get some trees. We're going to have some services outside, some worship nights outside. We're going to let the kids, all the kids' teams, go and play outside. So it's a very exciting time for us, and there's still plenty of opportunity for you to all to be a part of that. So we will keep you posted. This is kind of, just a little insider information, but stay tuned, because it's going to be a lot of fun to see that all happen.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have a place where we can congregate and hang out outside. It's going to be wonderful. And I think you said it, but it's 7 days a week. This isn't just something for Sunday mornings as well. So great news, and glad that you can partner with us in that as well. So you ready to have some fun?
I am so ready.
All right,
Let's
so
go.
this is what we're going to do. We're going to transition to a little bit of a challenge, a competition here. I love games. I love competing. It's just kind of who I am. And so today's message, where we're going, we are doing Shauna, what's it again? Four epic tales is what we're talking about. And so this week, the epic tale involves 3 young men from the Old Testament named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right? Now, those of you that know the story, you know that those 2 did a crazy thing. Those of you that don't, a little bit of a spoiler alert, they had to survive a fiery furnace, okay? So we thought we'd have some fun and play with fire just a little bit today.
Let's do it.
But the fire department will not let us do pyrotechnics on stage. So what we decided to do was to get out some fiery hot sauce, all right? So 2 of you, brave souls in this room, are gonna get a chance to volunteer. And come on up here, and we've got some wonderful chicken wings. In fact, we can show them the chicken wings. These are well cooked. Actually, I ate these without the sauce last service. They're fantastic. Nothing doctored in these things. We won't talk about the sauce yet, though, and what we've done to those. But what we want to do is introduce you to our sauces. They have lovely personalities. The first one is how do you say it, sriracha?
Sriracha.
Sriracha hot sauce, okay? Some of you, I think I've seen this on a grocery store shelf. So it's a Scoville level of 1,500. I don't know what that means, but I guess it's kind of hot, right? It's kind of hot. In fact, I wouldn't even touch that. That's me personally. But then we're going to graduate up to the next level of hotness, okay? Can I say that on stage? Sure.
Yes.
Next level of hotness is the secret aardvark Scoville level of 5,000 habanero hot sauce, okay? So this is a little bit hotter, all right? So we're gonna get a chance, somebody's gonna get the chance to try that. And finally then, for those brave, daring souls, we've got the next and final level. This is like the insane professional level. It's called Da Bomb Beyond Insanity. And yes, it is beyond insanity. And I can't even see the blood. Notice the numbers. It appears like blood red to me. Scoville level, 135,600. I don't know how you get to 600.
Yeah, well, wait, let me tell you, about 3 hours ago, I was trying to figure out how long ago it was that I tried it. I tried it around 8:30. I'm still having issues with speech.
Yes, yeah. So
it's pretty
So anyway, it's hot. We're just gonna say it's hot. But we know that there are people who like hot, right? In this room. So my question is, are there any brave, daring souls. There's
Right
one.
there.
Oh my goodness, it's a staff member's son. All right,
Yep,
Jonah,
this is
come
good.
on up
Come
here.
on, Jonah.
Jonah Zeller, Rebecca. He raised his hand. He is 18, by the way. He's a consenting adult. So come on up, Jonah. We're glad you're here.
All right. Are there any women out
I
there?
see some
Come on.
other hands here. I see some other hands. You know what? We're going to do the battles. I'm going to go with the guy in the beard back here. Yeah, come on up. Yep, there we go. This guy right here. We're going to do clean shaven versus not clean shaven. All right? That's how this is going to go. Come on up. And Jonah, I'm really impressed. I did not see this coming, so I'm so glad. I've known Jonah since he was a young guy. And this gentleman, your name is? Zach. Zach is his name. All right, Zach, here's what we got
question.
going on.
Are they like exceedingly tall, or am I shrinking? Like,
This guy is tall.
Okay.
Yeah, gosh, he's tall.
Whatever. Let's go.
It's amazing. All right, so Zach and Jonah, here's what we're gonna do. Each of you is going to get a chance to grab Jonah. Your pile will be on this side. Zach, yours on this side. You can use the tongs to get what you want. Here's your plate too. Go ahead and grab your plates so you can use your own plate. So go ahead and grab your first wing, each of you, and then we're gonna go ahead and start with, I gotta just always look at it. The sriracha hot sauce is going to be our first one. Again, Scoville level of 1500, all right? So go ahead and dip it in there. You can dip it in. You can use your hands if you want to.
He used a lot. I saw that.
Just, wow, Jonah, just being ready. All right, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and taste that out. Just, yep, whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and start. Yep, go ahead and eat it. Cheers. There you go. Eat it up. How's it tasting? No problems, Jonah? No,
He's
doing good?
finished his. He's down to the
Good?
bones.
All right, Zach says that it's pretty good. All right, well, that's probably pretty tolerable. Was it hot at all? Little bit? Not too bad. Okay, all right, good. All right, well, you made it through phase one. Well, welcome, good job. That's awesome. All right, next one, we're gonna do the secret aardvark. I don't know where they got the name Secret
good.
Aardvark from.
Good name.
Does anybody have Secret Aardvark hot sauce in your house? No, you don't. You have to go to a far state to get it. Okay, all right, so we'll do the Secret Aardvark sauce next. So go ahead and grab another wing, and you guys can go ahead and dip that in there. Don't touch the sauce with your hands. Yep, there you go. Okay, good. Get a good deal on there. Come on, man up. There you go. Okay. All right, good job. All right, okay, next one. Ready, set, enjoy. All right, here we go. Level 2. Oh, Zach, for a little bit of muscle flinch. Oh no, that one's hot? That one's a little hotter. Jonah, how's it going for you? Not too bad, all right? Are the eyes watering at all? No, not at all. Zach's feeling it a little bit more. Just a little bit, Zach. Okay. All right. You are welcome to stop at any moment in time.
Yeah,
okay?
there is some bead
No coercion
sweatlets
going on here.
your
We are not forcing this down your throat.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. So you did it. Good job. Congratulations. Give it up for them so far. This is wonderful. Way to go, guys. All right. So you've had to bomb before, and you've had it to bomb before. How did it go?
I threw up.
You threw up. Tears of pain. These are the phrases we're hearing. I threw up and tears of pain. Okay. Well, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to?
We've come this far.
We've come this far, yes. Why turn back now? Okay, go ahead and grab your wings right now. And you guys are welcome to go ahead and take your dip. You probably don't need too much. You don't
Fair
need too
enough.
much. All right, ready? Oh, great. Whole new level of comfort here. All right, is this comfort food? This is uncomfortable food right now. All right, on your marks, get set, eat. Let's see how this goes. Okay, Zach, oh yeah. Zach's twitching. Jonah
Here's
leaves
some water.
nothing to spare here. Like the whole thing is going down.
Oh, the whole thing.
All right, almost done? You're shaking. You're shaking. Are you okay? Okay, good. You good? Okay.
Way to
No
go.
tears.
Way to
Let's
go,
give it up
you
for these guys right now. Way to go.
Oh,
I am so impressed. Awesome. Hey, can they grab these waters too?
yes, the waters are
Grab
for
a
you.
water.
And
Jonah, this
just
is for you.
A note to the wise,
enjoy.
don't rub your eyes. Don't rub your eyes. Don't do
We
it.
did have medical on site today, so give it up to you guys one more time. Thank you so
Way
much,
to go.
gentlemen. Awesome
you
job,
guys.
Jonah. Head
So
on
good.
back.
Awesome.
That's great. Jonah's wife works with me, so maybe I'll hear about that later. So anyway, well, as we said, we're talking today about some guys who went through some fire. And you're about to hear a song. Actually, I heard a gentleman came up and shared with me afterwards The song you're about to hear, the artist just had his house burned down by someone. Someone who was after him actually went and burned his house down. The artist's name is Tom Petty, and the song you're about to hear, the song is called I Won't Back Down, or Won't Back Down. And so when I always hear this song, it's like, the epic, yeah, rock, I'm gonna go for it. You picture Stallone and just, yeah, but there's a humility that comes with this as well. In fact, the version you're gonna hear is a softer, slower version to it. And in our life, so many challenges hit us, right? Life is a daily grind. And we're not always out there like, yeah, I can do this. No, but life and the challenges that happen to us, and sometimes the heartbreak and the tragedy that sometimes become real in our lives, we have to face into that. And the story we're going to hear today are guys who continued to move ahead with God faithfully, even though every part of their faith was called into question. It wasn't a huge stand on a pedestal moment and say, yes, I'm going to do this. It was a quiet, faithful decision that they had made long before, that they were going to continue to walk faithfully with God. So listen to these words, and then Shauna Swaninger is going to be up to share the message today. Thank you so much for being here. You're in for a great treat as you get to hear the wisdom from Shauna today. It's an incredible message. So go and listen to these words and enjoy the rest of the service.
Stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground, won't be turned around, and I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand Hey,
there are moments and times in our life when our faith will be tested. What will our response be? Will we respond by fighting back in anger or frustration? Do we become more determined or focused? Or do we crumble under the pressure and just give up? Or do we respond with grace and humility, but saying, I won't back down? Do we respond in love? Do we respond by putting our faith and our trust in God? Because like so much of life, we have a choice. We have a choice whether we are going to choose to trust God. And if we do choose to trust him, is it conditional? Is it based on what we hope we get out of it, or do we trust him no matter what? Today, we're going to navigate some of those challenges of trusting God, especially in the moments of life that are hard, that are difficult, that there's pain. And also the importance of our response. And we're going to do that by looking at this incredible story of these three guys. These three guys who had to decide whether or not they were going to trust God. And we're going to look at their experience and what it can teach us today. And so as we continue on, I just want to take a moment to pray. Will you join me? God, we just come to you this morning and we just ask that for each one of us, wherever we're at in our lives, whether things are going well or we feel like we are in a season that is hard and difficult, that we would hear your voice today, that we would be drawn closer to who you are, and that we'd have a greater understanding of your faithfulness, and that you are a God who is with us, a God that we can trust. In your name, amen. Well, good morning, everyone. Like Ryan said, my name is Shauna, and I am part of our team here at Kensington, and I'm just so glad to be here with you today at the Orion campus, and thank you for everyone who is also watching online today. We are so glad that you are here for week 2 of our series, 4 Epic Tales. Now, at this time in the service, I do want to take a moment to receive our offering, and our offering really is this opportunity for us to trust. So we're talking about trust today, and this is one of those ways that we can trust God, to trust God with our finances, with our resources, and to be a part of something that is bigger than ourselves, to be a part of his kingdom. Now here at Kensington, our mission is to see everyone transformed and mobilized by Jesus. And that happens through our giving, and that happens in so many different ways. It happens here at our campuses, through our Move Out Network, through church planning, our global partners. We even here just a week ago had a group of 33 people from our student high school ministry and some of the leaders come back from a trip in the Dominican Republic. They were working alongside one of our global partners, and they were just getting to be the hands and feet of Jesus, sharing the love and hope of who he is with our global partner in the community they were working in. They did some painting, they did some concrete work, some VBS, and just had an incredible time. So if you have a chance, stop by and find out the people that were on that trip, because I know there's a bunch that came from this campus. But that's just one of the ways. So on the screen there, you can see the different ways that you can give, and that's opportunities for us to be a part of what God is doing and to share his love. And so we invite you to join us on that if you are not already, to jump in. And for those of that you are, thank you so much. Thank you for being on mission with us and for your faithful giving. So like I said, today we are talking about trust. Now, certain things in life, it's really easy to trust. You don't even put much thought into it. Other times, you might have to be convinced, like if you're, at an amusement park and someone's like, hey, do you want to go on the wooden roller coaster that's 1,000 years old? You're like, maybe. And then there's other times, it's hard. Like it's really, really hard to trust. Now, there are certain things that we probably don't even think about. Like most of us will wake up in the morning and we are not going to question whether or not the sun will rise. We just trust that the sun is there every morning. Now, whether or not it's a beautiful day in Michigan, that's a whole different thing. But we trust that. Or you go out to eat and you order a cheeseburger. You're trusting that it's made of real meat. You do not want the secret ingredient. We trust that it's real. Or, other times it's a little harder. So we have to be convinced. We have to be convinced that it's okay and that it's safe. Sometimes we need to be kind of worked up and someone has to tell us, like, it's okay, you can trust us. Kind of like this guy in this video I want to show you.
And we're going to ask you to fall, and then they will catch you. So you have to trust us. I'm going to count to 3. Just relax and fall, okay? 1, 2, 3. No, wait, no, no!
Look at their faces. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh. He went for it. He chose to trust in that moment, and you could see like his nerves, right? You could see his fingers, he's moving them. You can almost like, okay, I can do this. And then he went for it, and it turned out to be really painful for him. But that's kind of like life, because sometimes we trust and we get hurt. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes there might be some deception or some dishonesty, and it could be from someone important to us, or someone breaks their promise. Maybe it's a parent, it's a spouse, it's a friend. There's disappointment, there's rejection. There's these things that can break our trust in our relationships. And then when we've experienced that, it's a lot harder to then trust again. And then when it comes to trusting God, those past experiences really can affect that. Because then it's like, well, can I? Like, can I really trust God? Because it's easy then to become skeptical, to kind of be standoffish or be like, I don't know. Maybe we get a little worried and we're not sure if God will really come through. But sometimes I think it's not necessarily our past experiences, but maybe what's at stake. Like if it's something small, we'd be like, oh, sure, I trust God, no problem. But if it's something big, if it impacts your life in a large way, it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, what if the outcome is not what I want? Can I still trust God? And so we're going to look at this story today that I think is really going to give us some great insight. It's a story that's found in the Old Testament. It's found in the book of Daniel. And it's about these 3 guys who are from Jerusalem and their friend named Daniel. And they lived during the time of King Nebuchadnezzar. Now, I just have to say this. My name is Shauna Schwaniger, okay? I thought that's tough to say and spell. It took me a while, a few years into my marriage, I finally got it down. But King Nebuchadnezzar, I don't know. I've been in that story all week, and I still don't think I could spell his name. But he was the supreme leader of Babylon, the most powerful empire in the world, and it was greatly feared. Because when they would go into a city or region and go attack them, they would conquer it 100% of the time. And so in this first chapter in the book of Daniel, we read about how King Nebuchadnezzar went into Jerusalem and attacked the city. And just like always, they won. And what they would also do is that they would actually take with them the most useful and the most talented people from wherever they attacked, and they would take them back to Babylon. And so Daniel and his 3 friends, they are taken back to Babylon. Now, in Babylon, they are then instructed in the ways, in the culture, and the language of the Babylonians. And they, even to greater immerse them into their culture, they give them new names. So Daniel is now to be called Belshazzar, and then the 3 friends are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know what baby name book they used to get those names. So we have Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar. If you're pregnant, hey, maybe there's some ideas for you. But these 3 guys are immersed into the culture, and so they spend 3 years learning all of the ways. And at the end of the 3 years, the king is like, oh, you guys are like the best of the best. Like they're his favorite. And he actually assigns them to work for him. So they actually work for the king. Now, throughout all of this, these years of them studying and learning all the ways of Babylon, they were still very committed to their Jewish upbringing. So as part of their upbringing, they would have studied and actually had a really vast and deep knowledge of the Hebrew text, the text of literature, the text of the prophets, the Torah, which we would consider the first 5 books of the Old Testament. They knew this stuff, and it was still very much an important part of their life. So even though they're in this culture that does not believe in God, they were still very committed to who God was and to following God and to living their lives for God. Now, things kind of get a little interesting when we get to chapter 3 in the book of Daniel. And so we're going to begin there at verse 1. And it says, King Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then he sent messages to the high officers, officials, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the provincial officials to come to the dedication of the statue he had set up. So all these officials came and stood before the statue King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald shouted out, "People of all races and nations and languages, listen to the king's command. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and other musical instruments, bow to the ground to worship King Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue. Anyone who refuses to obey will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace." So the king has created this massive gold statue, and he has commanded that everyone is to bow down and worship it. Everyone. So that would include Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now here's the thing. If you don't bow down, there's this whole little consequence, like you'll be thrown into a blazing furnace. So this is not something to take lightly. This isn't where you go, oh, yesterday was leg day. Ugh. Now, if you've done leg day, the day following, you feel it. Like you're walking and you're kind of like, to go downstairs, it's painful. So to bow down, you're not going, I don't think I can. No. There's a blazing furnace full of fire. You are not going to want to be like, should I do this? No, you're doing it. So they play the music and everyone bows down. But some astrologers notice something. So they go to the king and they're like, hey, you know your guys, your favorite guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? They didn't bow down. No. And it's true. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego do not bow down. They do not bow down. And by doing that, they are going, okay, we only worship God. But by also doing this, they risk being thrown into this blazing, fiery furnace. This choice to not bow is pretty bold for them. But it also shows that they're committed to following God and to trusting him. Now, when it comes to our lives, most of us, we're not going to be like confronted with some command for us to bow down and worship some idol or statue. It's probably not going to happen. But for those of us who are Christ followers, there are going to be moments in our lives where we're going to be confronted with the choice whether or not we are going to follow God. There's going to be moments that are also difficult and hard where we have to go, am I going to choose to trust God in this? Can I trust him? And it'll look different for all of us. For some of us, maybe that's a health diagnosis. And the outcome doesn't look good. Or maybe it's something in a relationship. Maybe someone was unfaithful, and now the relationship is just in shambles. Or maybe it's something going on at work, and there's been some big challenges, and you honestly don't know how much longer you're going to have a job. Or maybe it's something within your family. Maybe it's with one of your kids, and maybe someone's making some choices that are harmful. There are these moments in our life that you kind of go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I can keep going. Here a few years ago, my husband started his own business. Now, if you have started your own business or run your own business, okay, that is not for the faint of heart, let me just say that. It's kind of like this roller coaster. At moments, it's awesome, and you're like, yeah, this is exciting, things are happening. And then other times, it's terrifying, and I think it's just stressful all the time, running your own business. You're like, oh my gosh. But for us, for our family, my husband, every job and project that he gets in his business provides for us. So the provision from his business means, hey, we can pay our mortgage. We can pay our bills. We can feed our family. We have 2 boys, 2 teenagers. And I don't know if you know this about teen boys, but they like to eat like a lot. And it's summer vacation right now. I feel like I have to go to the grocery store like every single day. I'm like, what do you mean there's no food left? And so at times it's like this roller coaster of things. But I'm gonna be really honest. These last couple of weeks have been extremely challenging for us in this business. The point where you go, we don't know what's next. Where at night we're sitting there going, are we gonna make it? The stuff that keeps you up at night. It consumes you. Where you feel like, this might be it. And you start doing the worst case scenario thing. And you're trying not to be afraid and go down that path, but what's gonna happen? And we have these moments because it's really easy to trust God when everything goes according to plan. When everything makes sense, or even those times when you feel like you can kind of control it, manipulate it, make sure it works. But life is not like that. Sometimes the curveball comes. Sometimes there's difficulty, there's pain and suffering. What do you do? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they are in this situation that honestly is kind of unthinkable. I mean, it's hard to imagine. And they're going, okay, God, we're staying committed to you. We're trusting you. Now the king, though, he's not real happy about this. So he calls them in and he's like, hey guys, okay, I know we kind of got a thing going. Like, I know you're my favorites and all this stuff, but I don't know if you heard, I've kind of made a command. I need you all to bow down. Like, I need you to also bow down to my idol that I made. It's pretty, it's gold. Can you do that? Because if you don't, I'm gonna have to throw you in the fire. And I'm gonna have to do it immediately. And so this is the response when we continue reading. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. So these guys respond by saying, our God, he's bigger. And he's bigger than you, and he's bigger than any idol or statue or God that you could create. Now, I think it's really important to hear the response here, almost to hear their heart and their demeanor, because this wasn't an attitude of like, stick it to the man. They weren't like, yeah, or as a little kid, be like, yeah. They stood there with humility and in faith, because they're going, my God's bigger. And they go, even if he doesn't, we're still going to trust in our God. Well, the king, he's furious now. Like, he's like, forget this. So he commands that they heat up the furnace 7 times hotter. And he immediately has the guys tied up and they are thrown into the blazing furnace. It is so hot that the guards who throw them into it are like consumed by the flames immediately. And then this is what happens. But suddenly, Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace? Yes, your majesty, we certainly did, they replied. Look, Nebuchadnezzar shouted, I see 4 men unbound walking around in the fire unharmed. And the 4th looks like a god. I mean, he is shocked, as I think any of us would be. I mean, they had 3 guys. They tied them up and they throw them into this blazing, fiery furnace. And now they are unharmed. They are not tied up anymore. They're just like, whoop, 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 whoop. And there's a 4th dude in there. He's like, what the heck is going on? Now, for those that were there, they're like, okay, that 4th guy, I mean, that's supernatural. Now, when we read it, we're like, oh, okay, cool, but who was it? Now, here's the thing. We can't be for certain, but many theologians believe that either it was an angel or is a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ. Either way, God sent them a visitor to be with them in the greatest trial of their life. And so the king is like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So he calls them out of the fire. They come out completely unharmed. And he's like, you serve the Most High God. And he actually goes on to make a decree that no one is to speak against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It's an amazing story. But I think what stands out to me the most is the response of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. See, they didn't hold on to their position. They weren't like, hey, we work for the king, or we're his favorites, to be like, well, I guess we don't have to bow now. No, they didn't use anything to defend themselves. Even the fact that like the king has made this demand and if there's this life-threatening like result, they remained calm. They remained confident and peaceful when they stood. Their demeanor actually reminds me of a similar response that we read in the New Testament, a response from Jesus. See, after Jesus is arrested in the garden, he's put on trial before the Sanhedrin, before Pilate and Herod. And his response to each false accusation against him is peaceful. It's one of humility, and at times he doesn't even say anything. I mean, but when he's before Herod, we read this in Luke 23, it says, he plied him with many questions. That's Herod. He's just asking him these questions. But Jesus gave him no answer. Jesus was silent. He didn't defend himself. He didn't fight back. He remained peaceful and calm. And I mean, he could have started a retaliation or rebellion. I mean, he is, after all, the creator, almighty, all-powerful God. He could have, but instead he chose to respond in humility and peace. And here we see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stand there peacefully instead of bowing down. And I think they could because I don't think their response was based on themselves. Their response was not based on their circumstance, and it wasn't based on the future or even the fear of the future, what could happen. Their response was based on the promises of God. These guys have remained committed to following God. That is what shaped their response. They were able to be peaceful and be calm in this moment because God has been a part of their life. They've had a foundation that wasn't just something that was in their past when they lived in Jerusalem, but they have continued to follow God, and that is what shaped their response. And what is so astonishing is that they were able to continue to focus on him, so much so that in verse 18 it says, but even if he doesn't. So even if God does not come through, even if they were to die in that furnace, they are committed to following God and to trusting him. They believed in the promises of God. And I think sometimes for those of us that follow Jesus, sometimes we have this idea that we're just going to have this sweet, cushy, safe, problem-free life following him. But that's not a promise. That's not a promise of God. He does not promise that we won't go through hardships or trial or that we won't experience pain. He promises us that he will be with us. That even in the hardships, even in the moments that don't make sense, even in the moments where you feel like you're drowning, he says, I will be with you. Matthew 28:20 says, and surely I am with you to the very end of the age. That he is always with us, he says. I am always with us. He is always with us. But the thing is, it's a choice that we have to make. A choice of whether or not we will trust in his promises and trust him. And sometimes that's really hard because we're afraid. It's trusting him when it doesn't make sense and we feel anxious and we're scared. Because I have to imagine that those guys, they're standing there. Like, maybe they're kind of like that guy in the video where he was like, whoo, you could see it in his hands. You know, they're squeezing their fists, almost talking to themselves. We follow God, we follow God. I trust you, God, I trust you. They had to be scared. This is a fiery furnace. But it's learning to trust God when we don't always feel it. It's learning to trust God when it doesn't make sense. It's learning to trust God even if we don't get the outcome that we want. Because the reality is sometimes we don't. Sometimes pain continues. Sometimes hardships keep going. Sometimes the trials feel like they are never ending. And it's saying, okay, God, can I continue to trust you? Someone that I've come to really respect is a lady named Catherine Wolfe. She's an author, she's a communicator and an advocate. And at 26 years old, she suffered a catastrophic stroke. Miraculously, she survived, but has forever altered her life. And now, along with her husband and her 2 boys, they really are journeying in a life where the suffering doesn't end. And how do you continue to find God and trust him in that? And she says this: I had to learn how to find God in the midst of it. I learned that God's goodness was not attached to my earthly circumstances. And God being good was not based on anything going on in the physical world. The cross put everything in perspective. She had to find God in the midst of it and make a choice to trust God in the midst. Because at one point or another, we're all going to face circumstances that are beyond our control, that are hard, that are painful. And for some of us, that's where we're at right now. And maybe it's something in your family, divorce, depression, chronic pain, a health problem. It could be the death of a loved one, financial struggles, addiction. I mean, the list can go on, because we will all face circumstances that are going to push us beyond our limits, push us beyond what we think we can handle. The question is, what will our response be? How will we respond? Will we choose to trust God, even if we don't get the outcome we want? Will we choose to trust him? For those of us who are Christ followers, is your faith based on the outcome of your situations, or is it based on the promises and the foundation of who God is? So how do we, though? How do we trust God, especially in these moments that don't make sense, the moments where we feel like we're drowning, the moments that we feel like we cannot go on? As we close, I have 3 things I want to share with us that I think can help us. And the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I think they were able to trust God, and that they were able to stand there, and even with the risk of being thrown into a fire, because they knew the promises of God. We need to learn the promises of God. We need to learn them. And on the screen here, we're just going to show you just some, and I would encourage you, take out your phone, take a picture of them. Because we need to learn them. We need to study them. We need to memorize them, write them out, pray them, say them to yourself over and over again. Because in the moments of life that we face the hardship, it's going to come, it's going to happen. If we don't know the promises, how can we turn to them? Over these last couple of weeks, with everything happening with my husband's business, I have to tell you, at moments I feel like I've been on the floor, on my face, reminding myself of the promises of God. Saying that I have a God who is a faithful God. I have a God who is faithful. I have a God who is provider. But we can't trust the promises if we don't know them. So get to know the promises of God. And that's just a snapshot. There's so many more. The second thing is be intentional and spend time with Jesus. See, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had a solid foundation in God. Be intentional and build into your foundation with God. And the best way to do that is to spend time with him. Spend time reading. Spend time reading this book, seeking truth in Scripture. Spend time talking to him. We could call it prayer. Spend time telling him what is going on in your life. Tell him about the frustrations, the anger. Tell him how painful it is that you're drowning and you can't see your way out. Tell him about your disbelief. But then ask him for wisdom, ask him for strength, ask him for discernment, ask him to help you. Ask him to help you so that you can respond saying, okay, I won't back down. I won't back down, to respond in that grace and the humility and the faith, and to respond in love. But we have to spend time with him. We got to build into that foundation. So how might you be more intentional? Maybe that means you need to get up a little early every day so that you can have those conversations with him. Maybe you need to do a devotional. The YouVersion Bible app has so many great ones, and the great thing is you can do that with friends. So you can actually have someone to actually help keep you accountable. But how can you be more intentional in your relationship with God? And the third thing is let go. Let go. Surrender your ways. Surrender your ability. Surrender your control. Surrender your fear. Surrender what you are holding on to, because really trust comes back to us going, okay, God, I give it to you. And sometimes it's really scary. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared right now with my husband's business. It doesn't always make sense. But sometimes we got to take that leap off the cliff. And I think Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, they didn't hold on to anything. They didn't hold on to their jobs. They didn't hold on to their positions. They didn't even hold on to their own lives. And I think they were able to do that because they knew the promises of God and they had built into their foundation. So what might you need to let go of? Maybe it's your worry. It's your fear. Your control. Unforgiveness. Learn the promises of God. Be intentional and spend time with him. Build into your foundation. And then you got to take the leap and let go. And wherever you're at, whether you're just brand new, you're still kind of checking this whole God thing out, you're figuring it out, or you've been following Jesus for a really long time, know this, that we have a God who we can trust. A God who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So the God that showed up for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is the God who will show up for us. He is the God who is with us. The God who is with us in the fire.
There's a grace when the heart is under fire. Another way when the walls are closing in. And when I look at the space between where I used to be and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to
so thankful that we serve a God who meets us where we are at, a God that we can trust, a God who meets us in the fire. And my hope for each one of us, wherever you're at in life right now, is that you would lean into following him, lean into the promises of God, and to trust him, to maybe leap off that cliff and surrender to him. Now, for some of us, though, we're there. We feel like we're in the fire right now. And I wanted to let you know that we have our prayer team. They're going to be down front after service, and they would love to pray with you. Because sometimes we battle it out. We talk to God and we're on our knees, but sometimes we need someone to come alongside us, to come pray for us. So please know that they are here for you. And they would love to be able to just be able to be with you and walk with you. Now, we hope that you'll stick around a little bit after service today. We have what's called a party in the lobby. So there's gonna be some games, and it would be a great opportunity just to meet some people, connect with some friends here. I would love the opportunity to be able to meet you, so please stick around for a few minutes. It's gonna be a great time. Also let you know, we'd love to see you on Tuesday night at our family beach night. It's gonna be a great time, so please come out for that. Otherwise, we hope to see you here back next Sunday for week 3 of 4 Epic Tales. Have a great day.